You're listening to Razorcast, USA's hottest podcast, bringing you cutting-edge interviews from leading industry professionals.
Hello, everyone. This is Liz Harvey coming to you from our Razorcast studios in New York City, where we are dedicated to bringing you cutting-edge interviews from many of the leading industry professionals across the U.S. In today's episode, we are speaking with Stephanie Heintzeler. Stephanie is a German-educated midwife, a U.S.-educated doula, an acupuncturist, and she is a certified lactation counselor. She is known as the New York Doula. Stephanie has delivered over 1,200 babies and has experience with twins, triplets, breech babies, and water births. She also works with newborn parents in their postpartum stage and holds classes and seminars for moms and dads to be. With a wealth of experience and knowledge in her field, Stephanie Heintzeler is widely considered to be one of the top doulas in the country. She is also a contributing member of our national network of industry professionals. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic: how to catch enough sleep once your baby is born. Hi, Stephanie. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So we all know that new moms and dads are sleep deprived. Do you advise to sleep when the baby sleeps, even if it's during the day?
Yes, totally. That's what saves mothers. It's the thing is that babies oftentimes, especially at night, they don't sleep too well. Babies don't know that the mother is still around at night. During the day, babies usually sleep a little better because they hear noise and they hear the parents and they just, there's more going on. But at night, it's dark and they don't hear anything maybe, and they're like, what the hell is going on? I'm really scared. So most babies tend to be fussy at night. And also, if mom is breastfeeding, then we might be feeding at 11 p.m., and then again at 2, and then at 5, and then at 7. So there's not a lot of sleep, maybe 4 hours, maybe 5, 6 hours, but usually not enough sleep. So during the day, it's really helpful to rest, especially in the morning. So I recommend to extend the night. Usually if there's a 7 a.m. feeding, maybe the mother thinks she needs to get up at 8 o'clock because the day has started, but no, that's usually a time where the baby can also sleep quite well for 2 or 3 more hours. And so if the mother stays in bed and sleeps until 10 or 11, that can really help tremendously. And that way she'll feel more rested and the day is more successful. It doesn't really help if she gets up at 8 and makes herself get up at 8 because she's just too tired. And she's breastfeeding. That is a big job. So it doesn't really help much to put too much pressure and do too much household stuff. The main thing is the breastfeeding and taking care of the baby and just extend the night. And that's usually what works best.
Okay. And do short, 20 or 30-minute naps during the day actually help catch up on sleep?
They do. It's oftentimes moms say, let's say they did sleep until 10 and, they're sort of okay, but at the same time, of course, they're still tired and maybe healing from birth. The baby's 2 weeks old. And many say, I'm so busy and there's people coming over, maybe, friends, and everybody wants to see the baby and I only have a half hour here and there when the baby's resting and I could rest too. And I just feel I'm so driven. I'm not tired. There's so much going on. And in that case, what can really help is to just lie down, because if the mom is tired, which oftentimes she is, boom, she'll be asleep in 10 minutes, right? Just by lying down and just not forcing herself to sleep, but just lying down. And the other thing is, even if she knows she won't be falling asleep, I'm someone, it takes me 30 minutes to fall asleep. And there's many moms who even with a newborn baby, they say, I'm just having trouble, although I'm so tired. That's fine. Listen to some music, just kind of pretend it, rest up. That still helps you and gets you a lot of rest and enough energy for the next hours to come.
And do you think it's possible to catch up on sleep on the weekends with, getting extra hours of sleep if you have some help with the baby?
That's a good question. Yeah, many moms ask that when, the partners are home or they have help over the weekend. Doesn't really work so well. It can work if the mother maybe hasn't been sleeping well for 1 or 2 nights. And she's just really sleep deprived, and she could catch up by just having one day where she literally stays in bed and just sleeps every time in between feedings. And we do recommend that, for example, when a baby has been crying all night, or when the milk kicks in, day 3, day 4, when the breasts are engorging, then we really recommend to stay in bed all the time, because that can help to rest up enough. But catching up, it's really, she might feel more rested because suddenly she's getting enough, but if you sleep 10 or 12 hours, that's it. You can't sleep 24 hours in a row. First of all, because you're breastfeeding, but even if you force yourself to do like 2 hours and 2 hours and 2 hours and 2 hours, it doesn't do the same. So it's more important really to look at a 24-hour period and make sure that you get 8 hours of sleep in that 24-hour period, right? If a mom is doing 6 for a while, usually they're fine. But it shouldn't be too long. If it's like a week, then we really need to talk, and that's usually what I do. I look at the sleep schedule. I'm like, okay, where can we kick in 1 more hour, another half hour, and just make it happen?
And okay, so do you think parents can turn down the baby monitor during the night and set an alarm and sleep until the baby's feeding time, or is that just somewhat wishful thinking?
It is wishful thinking, but on the other hand, what's doable is just sleeping in between. The thing is, the parents shouldn't stop the baby monitor, because in the end, when babies have a growth spurt, or when babies really need something, they have whatever is going on, they're just not comfortable. They need to be able to verbalize that and be heard, right? The parents need to be able to hear baby and pick her up. Setting an alarm we oftentimes need to do the first month or the first 2 weeks to make sure baby's gaining weight. So some babies are very sleepy after birth, especially when it was a medicated birth. And so the first nights, actually, the mother really needs to start the alarm and just for every 3 hours, so that she just knows when to start breastfeeding, and then wake baby up. And if it doesn't work, then we'll try again an hour later. But most of the time, it's happening. And but then in between those times, because she knows she set the alarm, it's usually possible to sleep. And after a while, once the baby has a schedule, at least in terms of that, we know she's maybe always feeding often at night, and in the morning she's a little more calm, then we would just look at the schedule and see how we can optimize that a little bit, so it's a little easier for the parents to plan. Yeah, right. So even for an evening to plan, or the night to plan, so they have an idea like what to expect. Although of course babies, they don't always do what the parents expect.
Right, for sure. And at what age, I guess this is the magic question, at what age should a baby be sleeping up to, say, 6 hours straight? There's
no shoulds, really. I certainly have clients, they have babies and they're 3 years old and they still don't sleep through the night. Oftentimes twin parents, which I often have in New York, it's really, some twin parents, that once they had another baby with me and those twins were 3 years old and they still didn't sleep through the night. It's just, There's always one baby up, right? It's just kind of happen. But of course we can look at optimizing. In the end, a baby could sleep through the night at 6 weeks. I do have clients who are breastfeeding beautifully, and it's just, they're breastfeeding a lot during the day, and then they put the baby down at 8 p.m. and the baby sleeps until 6 a.m. And so if the mom can do that in terms of her breast, she doesn't feel that my breast is exploding, and she still has enough milk. After a month, we can start looking into that, because then the body has adjusted, and usually the milk is enough if she has those longer breaks. And then, of course, you can do sleep training. So if you really, really feel like I need my baby to sleep through the night, maybe just midnight to 6 a.m., that's certainly something realistic. I would start that at, look into it at 3 months, mainly make sure how's baby gaining weight, how's my breast doing, and then starting to feed a lot at night in the evening until it's really, the baby is starting to have the longer sleeping time. And then the baby needs to get stretched, meaning that in the middle of the night when she wants to get fed at 4 a.m., then every night you kind of stretch her 15 minutes longer, right? So that she doesn't get fed right away, but maybe calm her down a little bit, calm her down a little more, and usually babies adjust, but not all of them. And again, there's a few things that need to be a given, meaning that baby gains enough weight, the mom is fine, breastfeeding is going well, enough milk is there. So that's something that many hire a lactation counselor. So I usually come in and we discuss what's going on and what the goal is, and then we make a plan and go from there. So it's, there's not a should, but there's a could.
Oh, that's good. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. We know you're really busy, so I just want to thank you for all of your time and help today.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And for our listeners across the country, if you are interested in speaking with Stephanie Heintzeler, you can either go online to www.thenewyorkdoula.com or call 917-399-2031 to schedule an appointment. And on behalf of our entire team at Razorcast, we want to thank you for listening, and we look forward to bringing you more top-quality content from our country's leading industry professionals.
You've been listening to Razorcast, USA's hottest podcast, bringing you cutting-edge interviews from leading industry professionals.